Hey guys, welcome back to the Art of Craftsmanship. My name is Dustin, and today in the shop I'm going to be making a leather sling for this hatchet that I made for my daughter recently. Now I did this in a video. I did the Osage orange handle. This is a really cool little plum scout hatchet. So if you want to see me handling this axe, check out my video, and I'll put a link in the description below for that. Let me show you my drawing for what I'm thinking about, and then we'll get into actually drawing out the template for the whole thing. And here you can see my idea of having the mask around the axe head, and this will actually go up a little further to cover the whole head. We will have a snap closure that comes around from the back. I have two options here, one with a grommet and one with a D-ring, and I'm going to be using the D-ring option, and this will actually just be held on by a rivet. There'll be one here, and there'll also be rivets across the front covering the blade, and the same thing in the back. The leather will wrap around to the back, and there will be a D-ring held on by a rivet in the back as well. With my design here, you can see I laid the axe head down, traced around it, flipped it over, and then traced around it on the opposite side, leaving room in the middle for the top of the eye. I also then came back behind and left room for the welt on the front. I left room for the snap closure, and then the tabs in the back. So you can see this is here. The way this will work is the leather will be like this. Here's your snap closure from the back. And then these two tabs will fold over to make the back of the axe. So it should sit like that. And I have enough material left over to have some leeway when I'm cutting my leather, but that should work pretty well. I'm making a few little adjustments to this leather as I'm fitting it, trimming off little bits here and there that I don't think are necessary, and when I'm done that, when I get this the way I like it, then I'll make another template on the paper. That way I can save that, because I do like this design. I think it'll work pretty well for other axe heads, and I can kind of adjust it here and there if I need to. But because the leather's a little thicker, it's a little bit different than the original paper template. With this mask, I'm actually going to be using a welt, and I'm doing that because I want to create a little bit more space inside, and with that extra leather in there, it'll create some more space. Usually with rivets, I don't do welts because it's not as important, because I'm not doing stitching, and a welt is there to usually protect the stitching, but this one should work fine. I have some 3 to 4 ounce leather here, and I'm going to be using this for the strap. This is plenty strong enough. It's just a little bit thinner, so it'll make it easier to like bend and adjust it. is. This is kind of cool. This is a strap cutter, and this is a vintage one that I got from a buddy of mine. I set it for 3/4 of an inch. It does have the measurements on the top, but it doesn't quite match up exactly. So I remeasured on the bottom, got it set, put a new knife in, and it should work well. Look at that. Worked great. Should be good. Nice. I'm going to dye everything a bison brown, but before I do the dyeing on the mask part, I want to use the edge beveler to go around and clean up all of the finished edges, which is everything except for the front edge, which will be sanded later. I'm going to use my groover to cut a nice decorative groove all the way around the top edge of the sheath. I'm re-wetting the final edge with the dye, which adds kind of a nice dark edge to the leather, but I'm really doing it to wet the edge so that I can burnish it. I just picked up the hardware that I need, so let's head down the shop and start putting it together. I'm going to be gluing in my welt with contact cement. I'm going to wet the front corner, that way I can get a really nice tight pinch, and then I'll use some scrap leather to wrap around. That way when I put my clamps on, they don't mar the surface. With this type of contact cement, I'm going to glue both sides of the surface that I want to join together, and then I'll let those dry. And then when they're dry, I'll add a second coat on, and when that becomes tacky, then I'll stick them both together. All right, that's feeling good, nice and tacky. I'll put, stick both of these together. This contact cement sets up pretty much instantly, but I like to give it a few minutes. So I waited about 3 or 4 minutes, let that set up. It's nice and strong now. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the front of this before I drill my holes. I'm going to be using key posts, and these actually thread together. And I usually use rivets, but I kind of like these. These will work really well, and it'll also give me the option to be able to take this off at some point if I wanted to remove the D-ring for the strap. But I will be securing these with some thread locker. And right now I'm just setting up my distances, and then I'm going to walk the space down for 4 posts using my dividers. Now this has a little bit of blue thread locker, which is semi-permanent, which means I'll be able to pull this out if I ever need to. I don't think I'll have to, but it's nice to have the option. Well, this last one will have the D-ring attached to it, and that's what I will use to attach the strap. I'm going to be using the key posts to attach the back. Now these are designed for thicker amount of leather, which is working well for 3, but I have to do this for 2 layers of leather, so I have to grind these down a little bit so they're a little closer together, and they'll work for the back. Well, that was a hassle, but that worked pretty well. Thankfully, I have this little right-angle screwdriver to help. And actually, I got to take it back apart because I got to put the D-ring on. Here. Oh, uh-oh. Okay. To make that hole a little bigger. Fit in there. Drill that just a little bit bigger. All right, that looks good. It's a little bit tight right now to get in and out, but I think I'd rather have it tight now because the leather will stretch and loosen. I'd rather have it really tight now instead of loosening up later and then falling out easily, so that's really nice. Feels really good, nice and secure. I gotta make the strap. Right. All right, it's all finished. Let's put the hatchet in and see how it looks. I do really like this slot method for the strap. I think that just looks really nice. It's a good solution for holding that handle. Everything's fitting nice and tight right now, which is good, because with leather, anytime you're doing leather, everything that you can do to make everything fit tight early on in the beginning is good, because everything's going to loosen up over time. But I just think that looks really nice. I like the silver hardware with it. I think that just turned out really nice against the dark leather. I think Corinne's going to really like this, especially her initials stamped into the sheath as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a blast. Make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe. That does make a big difference for our channel. And let us know what you think about this in the comments below. You can also check out our podcast and follow us on Instagram. That's about it. Let's head upstairs. We'll show Corinne this, maybe take it out in the woods and see how she likes it.